Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Seeds of Success podcast. Each week we will plant knowledge, insights, practical tips, and trends so your center can be a striking success. My name is Orly, and I have Dottie here with me. Dottie, how are you doing today?
Hey, Orly, I'm good. It's really good to be here today.
Yeah, and not only is Dottie here with us, Dottie, do you want to introduce our guest today?
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure when we have Mr. John Losito in the house. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Dottie.
Guys, today we have a really good episode. I know John and I go back many, many years, and I've always felt that he's really one squared away person. But that's not really why we have him on the show today. Not because he's a great guy and is really squared away in everything that he does, including running his center, but he has recently started accepting Square as payment in his center. So, John, that's really what we want to. I know you were thinking, I'm recognizing you for being so squared away, but really, this episode is going to be a little bit about that.
Dottie, I might be squared away, but I'm very round as a person. So
I'm not going to touch that one. Well, John, our listeners probably know that recently QubicaAMF has partnered with Square. As we've mentioned many times before, QubicaAMF doesn't go into things lightly. There's a lot. Everything that we do has research and development behind it, including who we partner with, right? So we have a partnership with Square, and you there at Sun Valley Lanes you have started taking Square as your form of payment. And I'm kind of curious, John, as to kind of what went into that decision and what you're hoping to gain by having Square as a form of payment there at Sun Valley.
Well, there was two parts of this, Dottie. One, Cubica was aware that I was not happy with my previous credit card processor. They were slow. They were always charging additional fees. The fee costs were just kept going up, and up. Their equipment was expensive. So I was fortunate to be a little bit, privy to kind of what was kind of going on in the background, I guess. I've been testing Square payments since really about August. We've been testing this. It was like August 1st or 2nd that we actually flipped the stuff on. But I was excited to make the leap when I knew the opportunity was coming down the pike because people know, I know Square,
Yeah.
A lot of people know Square, and I know Cubica did a lot of due diligence and trying to find the right partner to partner with, and I think they landed on a great one in Square. So I was excited to make that leap for multiple reasons.
Yeah, and like you said, Square's been around. It came up. It started through small business and a solution for small business, and it has really grown. But it is very recognizable and it's very accepted, and people have confidence in Square. And Orly, I believe Orly has a small photo booth business. And Orly, am I right? Do you use Square for your payment processing?
Yeah, I do. I do use Square. So if we're out at an event and we're charging by the photo, or even if we're, headed to the college and doing an event for them, sometimes they're like, can we just use a credit card? Yeah. And I have a Square reader, and it's, and it's something, when I'm paying for something and I'm out and about at a festival and I'm like swiping my card on something, or even a vending machine, sometimes it lets you use a credit card now. I'm kind of like, hey, what is this I'm swiping? But when you see Square, yeah, it is recognizable. It's easy for customers to use. And, it's just like being in a store, they just put their card in, it's recognizable, it's easy, and I think it makes people feel comfortable using it.
Yeah. And, John, let's talk a little bit about a couple of things that you said regarding why you're excited about taking it. Number one, you mentioned the cost of equipment.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Absolutely. We're talking, these things are quarter of the price really from, the other credit card providers, credit card terminals, so actually it makes it a little bit more convenient. I can actually add a couple more, like we're going to add a couple. Actually, we did in the office, somebody call in over the phone. We got to take a reservation. Okay, hang on. We got to switch computers,
Yeah.
So, one, that's nice. They're readily accessible. We're getting ready to reopen my volleyball bar. Yesterday, by chance, I ordered a Square terminal and I received notification this morning that's going to be delivered tomorrow. So,
Very nice.
just get online, you order it, pay for it. It's done. So that you're right, Dottie. That was one, one good reason. But the other amazing one to me is the speed. The speed of the processing
Yeah.
is light years faster than what it was with my previous credit card provider. I had the running joke that because obviously in beta testing, stuff is disjointed, right? I mean, that's how it kind of works. So we were disconnected. We're operating two systems. We could process a credit card faster on our Q pads by switching out of Concur into the Square terminal payment screen, running the card, and going back to Concur than we could when we were integrated. We timed it. We actually were saved by like a second, and we're
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So when you just look at the front desk and how fast it is, and how, I mean, it's like I said, it's night and day. So
Yeah.
we were pretty excited by the speed of it.
Well, and when somebody hears, um, I've switched over and I'm taking Square as pay for payment, they don't really realize that something like that can actually enhance your customer experience. So for a lot of different reasons, you said two things specifically that I'm thinking, wow, that's a satisfier, right? Number
Yeah.
one, the affordability of putting terminals in other places, such as
Yep.
the office, gives you the ability to serve that customer quicker if they're on the phone and want to make a payment.
Yes.
Also, the fact that it processes quicker, we all know that the quicker you can get the lanes turned over, the quicker you can get that food and beverage sale, the quicker you can process things, the happier that customer is going to be because it allows him to do what's on their agenda next. And we all know everybody is stressed for time these days. So
Yeah.
time is definitely money when it comes to this matter.
Yeah. And also the benefit to my team members, right? I mean, they get stressed out too. Waiting, stand there waiting for the credit card to process. Oh, sorry, we got to switch phones, that type stuff. I mean, it helps the staff also, let alone, we go through the line quicker. We got a line of people because college kids like to all pay individually with their
Of
own
course.
card, so it lets us turn stuff over faster, which is nice. So it's good. It's good all around.
Yeah, and so that's part of why we do these Seeds of Success podcast is to sometimes we just do things and we don't really realize that there's a whole lot of benefits. We may only be thinking about one benefit, right? But there's a lot of other benefits that come along sometimes with it. And that's really why we put these episodes together because, with this, for example, it's given you a lot of opportunity to really take your experience and be more efficient within your operation, which affects your customer. And as you said, it affects the mentality of your employee when there's less stress and the slowness of the processing and stuff. I understand also, and I want to just pry into this just a little bit. When you first started taking Square, and you get a dashboard and everything, were there any discoveries that you'd like to share with us that were kind of something unexpected that might have come along with it?
Yeah, so because we made the leap and everything was disjointed. I want to call it disjointed is not the right word, but we weren't integrated, right? Now we have Concur integration. We learned the Square dashboard very quickly. And in doing that, there's a lot of things in the Square dashboard that are pretty beneficial. I mean, first was out of necessity. We had to learn how to do a refund because we had to refund directly from Square on the credit card things. And that's when we learned, that we're collecting customer name and email and some other stuff because Square is worldwide, right? So it seems to be that if you've used your Square, credit card with Square and you signed up for, that business's, marketing program, then you'll show up in my database with your phone number and email X'd out. But if you then, opt in on mine, which you get asked, during the payment screen, it can be set up that way to be able to ask this. Then all of a sudden your phone and your email will show up in my Square database. I have over 19,000 people in my Square database since taking credit cards in August. So it's nice.
Wow.
It just happens. It's not like hey, fill out this form so we can add you to our, our database. It's happening automatically based on the credit card stuff, which I did not have access to before with my previous credit card provider, which is nice.
Absolutely. And again, it's a trusted source. You know, customers are comfortable with using Square in other businesses. But that's really exciting because this opens up a lot of opportunity. And I know, you know, this is just payments is just the first rung on the ladder, if you will, for the partnership with QubicaAMF and Square. So I don't want to commit to anything. I don't want to allude to anything, but Square does offer a lot of opportunity. It's got a lot built in. Square is very well thought out, and it's one of the few things that, you know, you think of it in the form of a payment, but it also has a lot when it comes to like marketing capability. You know, when you start using it for POS, there's opportunities for things that I've heard people talk about for years, you know, tracking your inventory,
Yep.
things along those lines. So it is a solution for many, many things that's all built into one, you know, convenient
Correct.
process dashboard, and is a user friendly way to grow your business. As a marketer, you know, I can't wait to see what the next steps are. I can't wait to see what our opportunities are. But it seems like, at least so far with taking payment, it has really been a great solution for you.
Yes. I mean, customers can right on the terminal enter their email or phone number if they would like to opt in. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that we just didn't have access to before, which is nice. And you're right, Dottie. I mean, we used Concur here for decades. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Concur is a great operational management system. You know, Square is that, I guess, a little bit on steroids, right? Because
Yeah.
it's designed to be the system for a whole lot of businesses, you know, but none of which turn lanes on and off, right? So, you know, Conquer is still
Yeah.
going to exist, which is great. But the fact that they're going to be able to talk and do some things, I think the potential there is exponential for sure. So I'm excited by what I think the future, you know, where we're going to go.
Yeah,
Uh,
that seems exciting because, you know, for instance, when, you know, like you said before, you know, using a credit card company and it did its one thing, but when you're finding out that Square is going to be able to do all these different things, that's pretty exciting. You know, me and Dottie obviously record podcasts, and, you know, some programs you use, you just, oh, we just record the show here. But when they start offering, hey, you can record the show here, you can edit here, you can do all these things in one spot, it's so beneficial. So that's what it seems like it's going to be like with Square.
Let me share this. You know, I saw this potential in Square, and once I dove into it, you know, we actually have already opted in for Square for appointments and Square for retail because I own my pro shop. So
mm-hmm.
now on my website, you can actually book your ball drilling time as well as book a lesson, all done through my website with Square. I actually switched my website over to Square. If you go to sundaylane.com, I'm actually on the Square platform for my web because I saw this potential of having
Yeah.
every integrated. I've never been able to sell my bowling balls online easily, let alone have it automatically ring into my point of sale system, right? So
Yeah.
this isn't a part of what, you know, Cubica is going to do. This is just me as a proprietor saying, oh, look at the options that are out there that I can now integrate and use them to my advantage, which I did. So you're right. There is a lot of potential with where stuff could go, you know, moving forward, just past the, you know, taking payments. So.
Yeah. And, you know, I thank you for bringing that up because my mind's thinking, oh, wow, this is cool. You could offer branded swag on your website. You could offer, you know, you could offer different things for your birthday parties, and it opens up a lot of opportunities. So that's why I'm saying, when you think of Square and you're thinking payment, it's a lot more than that.
Absolutely.
And so I'm really excited. I look forward to seeing, you know, the next steps with this. But, you know, our goal here is to, as I said, with Seeds of Success, we want to get our listeners to think of it like something that maybe they hadn't been thinking about in the future. And I think that you've definitely given our listeners a few things to think about and a few things to look forward to, actually,
Sure.
that's coming up in the very near future. So I'm really pleased that that Square has a great reputation, and so it's really easy for people to identify the fact that QubicaAMF has partnered with someone that already has clout with people all over the place. And that's important. So,
Absolutely.
well, John, thank you very much. You are always a pleasant guest to have on the show. You're so knowledgeable and you do so many great things at your center. So thank you for always being willing to come on the show. I know that your contribution makes a big difference for many other listeners that we have out there. And for that, I say thank you for being our guest and for what you do in the bowling industry.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Thanks. I'm glad to help, and I'm blessed to be in the world that I'm in. So anything I can do to help somebody else, I'm all for. So
Wonderful. Well, listeners, this hopefully will give you a little bit of an incentive to take a look at what you're doing right now and your fees and your capabilities within your center. And we hope that you now can look at things just a little bit differently and make some decisions based on what you've heard here today. And as always, if you are not already subscribed to our podcast, Seeds of Success, please go to any of the major podcasting platforms. You'll find us there. Just search us out and please share these episodes with your staff. We hope to include something for everybody in these episodes. So encourage your staff to subscribe and listen in. So listeners, we hope that you have an amazing rest of your day and keep doing what you do best, which is helping us make bowling amazing.